I've been a fan of Bruce Lee since his movies in the early 1970s. A lot of them. This is not all of them, by the way. Game of Death, Enter the Dragon, The Way of the Dragon, Fist of Fury, and The Big Boss. I'd also seen him on The Green Hornet, as he appeared as the Green Hornet's assistant Kato in all 27 episodes and in several episodes of the TV series Longstreet. He taught private martial arts lessons to people in the entertainment industry, including Steve McQueen, James Coburn, Sterling Silphant, Cy Weintraub, Ted Ashley, Joe Hyams, James Gardner, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He appeared with him in a movie. I could not believe he could actually kick his head. He was over 7 feet tall. And he trained together with his friend Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
More about that later. Bruce Lee, whose Cantonese name is Jun Fan, was born in San Francisco in 1940. And his family returned to Hong Kong about the same year, actually, where he would remain until he was 18. He was a child actor in Hong Kong under the tutelage of his father and appeared in 20 films. A year ago, our family was on tour in Chinatown in San Francisco, and we got to view the interior of the Green Star Theater. The theater opened in 1925 as a venue for Chinese opera singers. Bruce Lee spent time there as a child watching his dad, Li Hui-chun, a Cantonese opera singer, perform. We were shown a private patio where he had played while his father rehearsed. Oh, there's Chuck. Lee was inspired by the core principles of Wing Chun, the ancient Japanese conceptual martial art, which he learned from his only formal martial arts teacher, Yip Man. There's Yip Man and Bruce Lee together. Boy, he looks young. Anyway, he adapted Wing Chun into his own version. Jun Fan Gung Fu, literal translation, Bruce Lee's Kung Fu, and popularized it in America. And this is a picture of his sensei. Actually, it's not a sensei, that's Japanese. I don't know what they call him in Cantonese. Yip Man, and with his friend Chuck Norris. Oh, highlight. Did you know that Chuck Norris once had an arm wrestling contest with Superman? Anyone know that? He did. I'm not going to say who won, but the loser had to wear his underwear on the outside for the rest of his life. Oh, but there's a million Chuck Norris jokes. Lee returned to San Francisco in 1959 at the age of 18. That was from Hong Kong. He didn't stay long, but moved on to Seattle, Washington, where he attained his high school equivalency and attended the University of Washington, majoring in philosophy. Many of his written essays during those years related to philosophical principles in relation to certain martial arts techniques. While at the university, he supported himself by operating a school for Kung Fu. One of his students in 1963 was a first-year student at the University of Washington, Linda Emery. Linda knew who Bruce was from his guest lectures in Chinese philosophy at Garfield High School, where she had been a student. And in the summer, after graduating at the urging of her Chinese girlfriend, Sue-Ann Kay, Linda started taking Kung Fu lessons from, guess who? Bruce Lee. Bruce and Linda were married in 1964. They had a son in 1965, Brandon Bruce Lee, and a daughter, Shannon Emery Lee, in 1959. Bruce died early. He died in 1973 at age 33, just after completing the movie, one of his best movies, by the way, Enter the Dragon. He died of a rare response to a medication after getting a headache, according to the autopsy.
Yeah.
And following that, more bad news. In 1993, Brandon Lee died at age 28 on the movie set of The Crow. You'll remember that from.
I do remember that.
From a prop gun bullet fragment. It wasn't a real gun put in for a prop gun like recently with what's his name. It was a true prop gun, but it ignited anyway, some of the gunpowder in the prop gun, and a fragment flew at Brandon Lee and killed him. That was
That
tragic.
was sad. That was sad.
In the early 1970s, Bruce Lee's fame was primarily derived from his martial arts prowess and success in Hollywood and Hong Kong. Those who knew more about him appreciated his observations in philosophy, which was his major at the University of Washington. One of Bruce Lee's more often quoted philosophical concepts is be like water, a shortened version of a very layered Taoist concept about the importance of the art of detachment. If I can do it, here's a clip of Lee explaining this concept in an episode of Longstreet.
You put Longmire, but yeah, okay, we hear you.
It's not long,
It's like
it's
that.
long.
I was like, that's really recent, Longmire.
Okay, I'm
Longstreet.
going to have to stop screen sharing, and then, because I haven't mastered Roxy's Gung Fu method of sharing video. Okay, here we go.
Right. No sound.
Make sure you have original sound on,
Let me
Yes.
try that again.
because I don't think I have put it on there. Original
Yeah,
sound.
darn it. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Let's try that one more time and then we'll skip it. Okay, share screen. Okay, sorry, gonna have to skip it.
I can get it if you give me the
Well, let me, here's the quote itself. And it's more than that. This is just a super shortened version. And most people, all they hear is be like water. He's talking about emptying your mind and being formless and moving with something. So I'm just going to move on to this. Fortunately, Lee provided a more detailed explanation and background of his famous metaphor, be like water, in his book, Bruce Lee, Artist of Life, ordered yesterday by Brian Bailey. Quoting Lee, when my acute self-conscious, this is when he was working with Yip Man, when my acute self-consciousness grew to what the psychologists refer to as the double bind type, my instructor would again approach me and say, Lung, preserve yourself by following the natural bends of things and don't interfere. Remember never to assert yourself against nature. Never be in frontal opposition to any problems, but control it by swinging with it. Don't practice this week. Go home and think about it. And he did, spending the following week at home. Lee reflects, after spending many hours meditating and practicing, I gave up and went sailing alone in a junk. On the sea, I thought of all my past training and got mad at myself and punched the water. Right then, at that moment, a thought suddenly struck me. Was not this water the very essence of Gung Fu? Hadn't this water just now illustrated to me the principle of Gung Fu? I struck it, but it did not suffer hurt. Again, I struck it with all my might, yet it was not wounded. I then tried to grasp a handful of it, but this proved impossible. This water, the softest substance in the world, which could be contained in the smallest jar, only seemed weak. In reality, it could penetrate the hardest substance in the world. That was it. I wanted to be like the nature of water. Suddenly, a bird flew by and cast its reflection on the water. Right then, I was absorbing myself with the lesson of water. Another mystic sense of hidden meaning revealed itself to me. Should not the thoughts and emotions I had when in front of an opponent pass like the reflection of the birds flying over the water? This was exactly what Professor Yip Man meant by being detached. not being without emotion or feeling, but being one in whom feeling was not sticky or blocked. Therefore, in order to control myself, I must first accept myself by going with and not against nature. And then quoting from the true source of this thought, the Lao Tzu's famous teachings in the Tao Te Ching, the natural phenomenon which the Kung Fu man sees as being the closest resemblance to Wu Wei, which is the principle of spontaneous action governed by the mind and not the senses, is water. Nothing is weaker than water, but when it attacks something hard or resistant, then nothing withstands it, and nothing will alter its way. Those passages are from the Tao Te Ching, and they illustrate to us the nature of water. Water is so fine that it is impossible to grasp a handful of it. Strike it, yet it does not suffer. Stab it, and it is not wounded. Sever it, yet it is not divided. It has no shape but its own, but molds itself to the receptacle that contains it. When heated to the state of steam, it is invisible, but has enough power to split the earth itself. When frozen, it crystallizes into a mighty rock. First, it is turbulent like Niagara Falls, and then calm like a still pond, fearful like a torrent, and refreshing like a spring on a hot summer's day. So is the principle of Wu Wei. The rivers and the seas are lords of 100 valleys. This is because their strength is in lowliness. They are kings of them all. So it is that the perfect master, wishing to lead them, he follows. Though he is above them, he follows. Thus, though he is above them, men do not feel him to be an injury. And since he will not strive, none strive with him.